The manipulation of crowds is a overlooked but very important subject I think that needs to be spoken on. Obviously, crowds form a large part of the political, they form a large part of the civilizational, of course, and I think it would do us some good to understand how these crowds actually function and the sort of way that they interplay with larger organized bodies that are running society, in particular the state, but there's also other institutions that come into mind. And I think that understanding how crowds work can also inform how we should operate politically for our interest. Crowds are not merely just aggregates of individuals, although their outward appearance suggests they are. They're aggregates of individuals with an aligned spirit. Through their united spirit, they form, at that particular time and place, a body with its own individuated from those beyond the specific individuals of the crowd, which is to say, they form a union. Much like an individual, and as an individuated body with such a consciousness, it behaves according to the same nature as one, that is to say, as an individual. The primary motivation of man isn't rational, it is emotional or pre-rational, which then subsequently becomes rationalized via the medium of reason. The same is applied to crowds. They're primarily emotional before they are rational, which isn't to say their emotions are necessarily irrational, but rather pre-rational or meta-rational. Individuals, when self-conscious of the fact they may be held accountable, are much less likely to act in any radical manner, as they no longer have the option of hiding in the bosom of the crowd, which provides safety via the power to anonymize the individual via its quantity. The leader of the crowd is above the crowd by virtue of his essence as leader, yet he is one with the crowd simultaneously. The leader often claims to embody the crowd and is the man who shall direct the crowd to its desired end by embodiment of this interest. How does the leader sway and move the crowd effectively? If we refer to the first section of this video, we can see that a proper leader will recognize the point made, that being the notion of the crowd as individuated consciousness being primarily pre-rational or emotional. The proper way to sway the crowd is to utilize its emotion, but not necessarily in some vulgar manner. Rather, the adept leader of the crowd taps into the emotion via the mutual recognition of the consciousness of that crowd and understands its desire, thus appealing to it via the medium of reason. Reason, supplemented by emotional appeal, is what drives the crowd into a frenzy and allows the leader to bend the crowd to his will.